All right, everybody, Jeff back here. So I just decided it was interesting to try this thread that Ron Haggerty started. It's the first through fifth thread. Basically, you need to find first, second, third, fourth, fifth albums by bands that you think are really good, or not necessarily favorites, but that are high water. I don't know, just favorites, just great stuff. Great stuff. I don't know, hard to describe. Check it out. The video for his video is linked below. So what we're doing is we're picking like a debut effort by a band that we think is just great, and then a second album by another band that's great, etc., etc. You'll see. So yeah, let's get right into this. So now, obviously, it was easy to find. I mean, there are so many debut albums that I could say were stellar. It was hard to pick, but what I decided to do is pick one that I probably haven't shown that much, that I definitely count as still probably one of my all-time favorite albums by this band. So, again, just trying to be a little different than what I might be predicted as saying. So, Metallica, Kill 'Em All. I bought this when it came out. Loved it then. Love it now. Still, I don't care if it's got the little more raw sound or whatever. I know that other albums after this were more popular, but this to me, note for note, drum beat for drum beat, guitar lick for guitar lick, is the one that I air guitar and air drum to the most all the time. Every beat is ingrained in my mind, and I still like this album probably best. It's hard, because every album has something really great about it, but this album to me still, just maybe it's nostalgia. Anyway, Metallica's first album, debut album, is just one that really, really is near and dear to my heart. All right, a band's second record, I went with Motley Crue, Shot at the Devil. As much as I love the first album, there's just no denying that this one put them over the top. When this one came out, it really blew us all away. And I remember we used to air band to this all the time, air guitar, just the album has all of the major hits that most people know from back in the day. It is just top to bottom an amazing album. The look of the band blew me away back in the day. Still, this and the first album are going to be right up there as being pretty much my favorites. And this is just stand out as the second album. It's a great album. Okay, a band's third album. I went with Twisted Sister. Now, I ranked all these albums, their major studio albums, a couple years ago in early videos, and this is my number 3 because I really do like them in the order they came out. I think the first album is still so great. Second one is there. This one is obviously the big hit one. But the thing is, these are the songs that you hear the most. These are the songs you kind of get tired of. So that's why I kind of ranked it a little lower. Of course, I love every song on here. It's just some been overplayed a little bit. So I really still like the rawness of the first album, and the whole second album, is just great. And then, but you can't deny this is the album that took them over the top. This is the third album by a band that just was pivotal in their career, and I still love it. It's a great album. Now, when it comes to a band's fourth album, I went with Accept, Restless and Wild. Honestly, this was about the time I discovered them. So that's why this is near and dear to my heart. I think I know I heard Breaker first, but that was like my cousin's brother. And we just kind of were like, haha, funny album, funny voice. But this is probably the first one where I got into it, bought an album, and started listening to them. And this is still just an amazing album, top to finish, start to finish, top to bottom. Just a great album. So yes, a great band's fourth album. I'm going with Accept, Restless and Wild. Up next, a band's fifth album that I think is absolutely phenomenal. Now, this is a band that I pretty much love everything they do, but I have to say, when this album came out, I fell in love with it. I thought it was the most amazing piece of musicianship that this band has ever done. They went on to impress me with many, many other releases, but this is still the album that I think a lot of people consider just pivotal, high watermark, great storytelling, great music. Everything about it is just great. I'm talking Dream Theater's Metropolis 2 or Scenes from a Memory. I remember when this came out and I got it and just fell in love with it. It was just, and then I started listening to it and learning the storyline behind it, kind of a concept album, and I started listening to that and got just engulfed in the story and in the music. Phenomenal musicianship, shines heavily on this. Other albums on the previous albums, great stuff, great songs, lots of great musicianship, but in this one, it just comes together in a storyline that just captivates. It is just an amazing album. So this would be a band's fifth album that I think is probably just one of my favorites. So there we go. First through fifth. Those are my choices. I went through, and of course, I probably could change those choices tomorrow because there are so many bands that I appreciate those type of releases from. These stood out to me as being the ones for this, so that's where I'm going, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Rock on.